Billions of years ago, on the young planet Earth, simple organic compounds assembled into more complex coalitions that could grow and reproduce. They were the very first life on Earth, and they gave rise to every one of the billions of species that have inhabited our planet since. At the time, Earth was almost completely devoid of what we'd recognize as a suitable environment for living things. The young planet had widespread volcanic activity and an atmosphere that created hostile conditions. So where on Earth could life begin?
Well, have you ever wondered? Why is it said that when we look at stars on a clear night sky, we are in a way looking back into the past or peeping into the time back? Moving on to the origin of universe, you might have definitely heard about the Big Bang Theory, one of the most important phenomena in the origin of life. Not going deeper into it, let's quickly move on to the theories of the origin on life. Theory of special creation that states that life was created by supernatural power in the form which has not undergone any change. God created life in 6 days from materia prima, and man was created by him on the sixth day, according to which Earth is about 4,000 years old. Theory of catastrophism, which states that after a certain period called age, the world undergoes a catastrophe that is sudden calamity, according to which it kills many of the species living at that time. This suggested that these periodic catastrophes were usually confined to local regions, which were later repopulated by species immigrating from other areas. Theory of biogenesis, that is, life from life. The scientists disproved theory of spontaneous generation, that is abiogenesis. The flies could not arise from the putrefying meat without their eggs. Putrefaction of meat required microbes in the air, and it can be prevented by boiling and sealing the meat in the airtight conditioners. Pasteur gave a definite proof of life arising from pre-existing life. Using microbes and sterilization methods, he performed swan neck flex experiment. Cosmozoic theory, extraterrestrial origin of life. Some scientists believed that life came on Earth from other stars or planets. Early Greek thinkers said that the living organisms exist throughout the entire universe. Like we have our own, many other planets also have their own living universe and organisms, and that life was transferred from one planet to another in the form of some small units called sperms, spores, or seeds. The transfer of spores was called panspermia. Panspermia states that life is present throughout the universe. Transfer of life from one planet to another is called cosmozoic theory. Panspermia is still a favorite idea for some astronomers, but this theory has no scientific proof. Theory of spontaneous generation. The supporters of this theory stated that the life did not came from outer space. Rather, there was a natural spontaneous generation of living organisms from non-living matter present on Earth. For example, they believed that decayed and rotting material like mud, straw, etc. had the capacity to give rise to organisms like frogs and flowers. Theory of chemical evolution or operant Helen hypothesis. It says that the first life form could have come from pre-existing non-living molecules, and that formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution, that is formation of diverse organic molecules from inorganic constituents. And closing, the prebiotic systems. There are three conditions needed to have been fulfilled for the origin of life. There must have been a supply of special replicators, that is, self-producing molecules. Copying of these molecules must have been subject to error via mutation. The system of replicators must have required a perpetual supply of free energy and partial isolation from the general environment. The first non-cellular form of life could have originated 3 billion years back. They would have been giant molecules, that is RNA, protein, and polysaccharides. The first living organisms originated from organic molecules and an oxygen-free environment. They presumably obtained energy by fermentation of some of these organic molecules, organic materials, as well as food, and they were heterotrophs. Origin of autotrophs. When the supply of existing organic molecules was exhausted, some of the heterotrophs must have evolved into autotrophs. These organisms were capable of producing their own organic molecules by chemosynthesis. Now, moving on to the summary of the main steps in the origin of life according to modern theory of origin of life. Free atoms led to formation of inorganic molecules, which further led to formation of simple organic molecules and then to the formation of complex organic compounds. At last, the formation of eubionts led to formation of prokaryotes and then finally the arrival of eukaryotes. To end with, I would just like to say that life is an inherent capacity that an organism possesses to maintain and reproduce itself. Thank you.